Hello again. I'm back, and seeing as we have 3 new chapters of DC vs Vampires plus 2 side stories, I figured it was time I covered this AU again. But first, a thank you to my wonderful patrons for making these episodes possible. Links below. So, to tap on my thoughts from last time, I liked the clever villain and execution of the villain's overall plan, the art, and the fact the Arrow family beat the bats to the punch. But I wanted more use of Duke and Steph, plus more use out of Jaina, the surviving Wonder Twin, and that I found Batman focus stifling, and I still dislike Babs Girl. So, what happened in the interim? Wow, that escalated quickly! Zatanna was killed, which was disappointing, and Constantine's characterization feels a bit weird. The League got duped into attacking Batman and Ollie after they almost killed each other. Batman burned down all of Gotham, really taking liberties with that no-kill rule, my guy, and/or authors. Superman was turned thanks to kryptonite powder via Batman, and oh yeah, Dick ripped out his dad's heart! I seriously didn't see Vampire Lord Dick coming, but it did address some of my other complaints regarding his all-too-goofy behavior and made tons of sense. So, you know, good twist. I also like him leading them on a wild goose chase in regards to the new Lord, blocking out the sun via smoke, etc. Again, it's all very clever. Also, Dick complaining about wanting one of his brothers to join him after stomping Tim's head in like a melon while Damien is just unconscious there is comic. Jason versus Dick was a solid win for Jason fans. Sad though his death was, it was also very cool. Cass fans, however, yeah, no, not thrilled. She got stomped into the ground so fast. I might do a whole episode discussing this recurring issue later. Whatever the case, Wonder Woman is seemingly the new second in command with Hal's death. Oh, and the Eternal Darkness has begun. Now, with the most recent updates, Jaina has returned as a badass vampire hunter, but seems to be more or less kinda degraded by everyone and the story. Supergirl's still kicking, but without the sun, she's not got power, so I wonder if Superman has anything left. Also, the survivors are hiding in the bottled city of Kandor, and Harley Quinn's being experimented on. Beyond that, I like the narration message that was being delivered to space as a means of giving us exposition and covering the Green Lantern issue, but I do kind of feel that Ollie's being portrayed as rather childish here, at least judging by how the rest of the cast treats his desire to save civilians over go to space to empower Supergirl. Again, the Arrow fam is set up to be interesting in this, but quickly get cut down to irrelevance, which isn't fun, but good use of Kandor. I think if this story has a weakness, it's not giving us time to explore either the war or the new world created by the vampires very much. It's very hard for me to get an idea on what they're even fighting against beyond generic dystopic if well-drawn backdrops, or why anything operates the way it does. And this isn't exactly helped by the 2 side stories, which I have mixed feelings on. With that in mind, let's go! First we have DC vs Vampires Hunters. This side story has 1 issue I've read, and it's centered on Damien well after the seeming total vampire takeover. He's officially a vampire, but helping Martian Manhunter and others save civilians, while acting under the pretense of killing people for Dick, who won't even see him. Overall, I definitely like this more of the 2 side stories. Damien's design isn't his best, but it's far from the worst, and it's nice to see his positive traits from skill to sheer will. Seriously, he ripped a wooden stake out of his own leg, ow, and compassion given some attention. That's all good stuff. Okay, on the bad side, well, Dick's fashion sense died with his human heart. Alright, it's not that bad, but the art style works for Damien, not so much for Dick. The non-Bat characters up into including freaking Martian Manhunter are barely even sideshows to be quickly killed off. The vampire-ruled world is still barely glimpsed, and the sudden shift with Dick from gleeful villain to maybe Damien can bring peace between our peoples just makes no sense. Basically, a good story for Damien, but not a good story in the wider setting. The other side story is DC vs Vampires Killers. It centers on Harley Quinn and Catwoman, friends now apparently, who, along with some other humans, are basically allowed to continue operating under the sheriff, Mr. Terrific, but can't escape Gotham. Commissioner Gordon somehow has Lex's vampire-killing blood and gives it to Quinn before being killed off screen. Her attempts to escape the city are foiled. Selena reveals herself to be a vampire and is killed drinking Harley's blood. Given we know Harley ends up being experimented on by the heroes, the triumph ending is almost a cruel jest. Again, a fixation on Bat characters to the expense of others. Mr. Terrific should at least have a more interesting death than that, let alone why any of this human crime ring stuff is allowed to happen, and no real sign of the new world combined make the story feel rather weak. This is also possibly the most sexualized of the comics thus far, not the worst I've ever seen, but still. And yeah, that's about it. If you would like to help support these episodes and get early access to scripts, videos, stories and art, please hit up my Patreon. If you would like to commission 3D art, please swing by my coffee and we can chat. For now though, that's all. Thanks for stopping by.